Awesome. Let's go, panel. The panel is back. We're joined by a special guest. We'll introduce him last, so you're not surprised when you see him. We've got Kendall, the commish Weens again. We got Carter, defensive liability. Now with a perm, which makes him even faster out there. Show off your
Still,
perm, Carter.
still
Show
going
us.
with BL though. Now that he's on your team, I thought you changed that.
No, he's still a liability. That's
Okay.
why I brought in Scott to cover his mistakes. Show us your perm. Oh yeah, let's go. A lot of 3-pointers are going to be made with that perm. And then we've got the principal himself, Klaas.
Welcome, Klaas. Welcome.
Thank you, gentlemen. Looking forward to chatting.
Good stuff.
Klaas is GM of the principal's office.
So we had early on, we said if you want to get on the panel, you gotta let me know first of all and tell me what you're gonna bring. And Klaas said he's got some pretty crazy facts to bring to us. So we got Klaas's crazy corner coming up late in the episode. Good stuff. Looking forward to that. I have no idea what he's bringing to us, but I'm hoping he's just going to trash Cam and Carter. That'd be my hope, and maybe a little bit. And then we're gonna.
I'm sure it will be.
For that, we're going to talk a little bit about this last Sunday, some standout performances, and then we'll focus mostly on the teams, see what we think, who won that draft, do some rankings, that sort of thing. So without further ado, let's give it to the new guy, Klaas. Who stood out this week? Who you want to talk about?
I'm going to start with two rookies. Ezra. I think this kid's got an attitude. He will not back down, and I'm a little bit worried because I think he's going to use this league to prove himself. And I fear that some of us old guys are going to get blocked by a kid he's got incredible energy. I made a last minute trade in my draft number, and I could have had him, and I think it might be a regret in the future. Another guy I got is Jonathan. I think the kid, every week I'm watching him, is making improvements. Those two guys. And then I got some of the old guys on the list here. Patty was pretty strong. Points and rebounds last week, 20 and 15, shooting 40%. The commish, or the puppet master.
Woo!
17 points, 26 rebounds, shooting 57%. That's pretty good. I don't think he can maintain that, but we'll see.
Oh, challenge accepted.
It was fun to watch Sean Boone go. That guy is a force, and he's going to be fun to watch. Chase, one of the new guys as well, did pretty good. Shot pretty good. I think he had 19 points, 13, 14 rebounds, something like that. 7 assists. It was a good line. And then my last one is just Billy. I'm not even going to say stats. I'm just going to say he just does his thing.
Yeah, Billy's solid, man.
That's good. I think the commish rigs the rebound somehow. I don't know how he got 26.
No
that seems like a ridiculous line to have.
Yeah. Don't believe it.
I guess you're gonna have to go and watch every single one and count it up and see if I actually have 26, right? You can enjoy the watch. I
guess so.
I'm just hustling. I want those boards. Now that we got stats, man, I'm working hard. I want to pad those stats. And
I think at like halftime, the AI doesn't know the game stopped, and he's throwing the ball off the rim to himself.
Yeah.
Doing the old finishing drill. You just toss it off, toss it off, get it.
Yeah, right off. Just like loading up the stat sheet. I don't know. That's just my thoughts behind it.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I actually, Kendall, I was checking your rebounds, looking at the video, and there was about an 8-minute block that said this video is not available. But
yeah,
tampering. He's been
actually.
tampering.
Yeah, ridiculous.
That's incredible though, because that means that 8 minutes wasn't statted. So maybe I would have been at like 35 boards if you include that 8 minutes.
Oh my. Oh my.
All right, Carter, who you got, man?
Well, you see, Klaus listed off like every player who stood out last week. So
I know.
I
This
literally
everyone I
had
had too.
the only one I wanted to shout out Chase, Billy, and Pat. Those were the three. I got their stats, everything. He listed all their stats anyway. Billy had 29. Great game from him. But I also had Joe Boone going 17 and 7 on 53% shooting. If he can perform like that, what team is he on again? That's bad on me, but
Yeah, he's on Evan's team on
if he can perform like that team, they're long, they're tall. I mean, that can be if he can contribute for the point totals, that can be really beneficial for that squad. So, yeah, Joe
I think
Boone would be mine.
going off on Joe, like I haven't played. I don't think he's been on his team before. He was fun to play with. He committed to slashing, and I think sometimes he settles for that outside shot a little too much. When he slashes, he gets inside and he finishes on little guys, big guys. It doesn't matter. My one concern is how he fits with Evan's squad, because Evan's squad is big. They're going to fill the paint, and that takes away that ability to crash to the rim. So I'm curious how he fits with that crew. But I had him on my list too. He was great to play with. He was solid. Yeah, I think. Did he score more than his brother? He might have scored more than his brother against each other. So that's gotta
Pretty
mean a
cool.
lot.
Yeah. I also have one stat that I wanted to throw at you guys before. So does anyone want to guess the 3-point percentage from last week's games all put together? I put it all together. Does
I
anyone
want to
want to
guess.
guess what it is? Cam, what is it?
22%.
Okay. Klaus?
I'm guessing high 30s.
High 30s. Okay.
30s.
Kendall?
Okay, I'm gonna go 21 so I can get anything underneath Cam.
So it was 61 for 226 at 27% 3-point shooting.
27%.
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah, I
that.
thought that was interesting. It's been hard to shoot. That's what I'm saying. So far it's just been hard to find that mesh. I don't know how it compared to Kate
Oh.
Andrews' gym, but I think it's a bit different.
Let's go back
So-
though to Cam's talk. So Cam, you said 27% about that's what you said was a good 3-point percentage last time.
I think in this league, 30% is like pretty decent.
Okay, but you did say 27%, I think. So whether it's 27, 30, if the average is that tells you a good shooter is 35, 40, right? That tells you a bad shooter is 15 to 20, 25.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't think I said the average or to be
Yep.
like a decent 3-point shooter is 27. I said 30. So 27 is a little bit below average.
Barely.
3%. It's a big difference.
Big difference.
Yeah. And so I plan on shooting 21% this year. So call it good.
Oh man, that's interesting. I like that stat.
That
So
is a good stat. I like that.
27%. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's
That's all I got.
do you know what percentage I was from three this week, guys?
50.
Yeah, 50.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was like
yeah.
double it, guys. Double that stat. Wow.
On one shot.
Man, I'm doing what I can to bring those stats.
1-3.
up.
Whatever.
Oh man, I love
And
it.
if you don't shoot very many threes, you're not going to get the sniper badge.
No,
I scored. I went 3 for, or you're talking to Kendall.
Kendall.
Oh yeah, Kendall.
Yeah,
you're not
you only
getting
went 3
sniper
for
badge.
8, Carter. You got to hit 4, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were taking it easy last week.
Agreed.
Maybe.
Awesome. Cam, who stuck out to you, man?
Like the other guys said, Billy, Pat, Ezra. I had Devo on there. Devo had 14 boards and 9 assists. I was impressed with the 9 assists. He didn't have a great field goal percentage, but he was dishing out the ball, which I think will be important in your team, feeding you and Casco and Tristan and the other guys as well. So just kind of spreading the wealth. I like to see that from Devo. Then I had John. How do you say his last name? Vandegrind?
Vandegreen. Yeah, VG.
Vandegreen. I had him. 19, 7, and 3 for him. He had a pretty solid game. I just like him being paired with Josh on Braden's team. I think that's a nice pairing. I think he comes and brings competition and really good 3-point shooting. So I was impressed with his play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, VG's a stud, and I'd probably say most competitive guy in the league. You maybe don't see it obviously in preseason, but he's got some fire. It's gonna be fun to watch. Cool, awesome. I'm gonna
What about you?
I had VG as well. Yeah, I don't know, he goes up and gets buckets. He's solid. Justin Conrad, again, we had him on the podcast last week. Efficient, 2 for 5 from three. He's playing well. He's playing well this preseason. I'm looking forward to seeing that continue with the squad he's on. Hopefully he can get enough shots up to continue that. Joe, we talked about Chase. You mentioned there, Klaas. Chase is so smooth. I was hoping to play with him, looking at how things were going to turn out. I kind of expected he might fall to that 15, and I think he would have been a steal there. But he's a nice ball player. I know Billy has mentioned that they may clash a little bit, so maybe we'll see a guy like him get moved. That'd be a nice move. And then I also had Tim. Just watching the highlights from Tim, his athleticism is a little under the radar, right? You don't see him moving quick, but some of his finishes were he was throwing back the clock, so that was good to see. But before coming on here, I was feeling pretty tired, pretty drained today, so I told Jill she could maybe just come in and hop in for me. She's like, "It won't be very fun." The one thing I will talk about is Tim's shorts. Like, what's going on with those shorts, right? So I thought that was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
Will we ever see athletic shorts, or are we going swim trunks all the way through?
Swim trunks. It's just like Bob's shorts down to his knees.
Yeah.
Love it.
Awesome. All right, let's move on to our meat and potatoes then. Let's break down some of these teams, talk about strengths, weaknesses, that sort of thing. I think we start off with, let's go, we'll go principal's office. We'll go right to Klaas. So
Yeah.
Barry, Bob. Oh, my second screen just shut off. 2 seconds. Who's on that team? We got Barry, we got Bob, we got Byron, David, Kaysen, Klaas, and Lane. Strengths, weaknesses. Let's break it down for Klaas, and then we'll let him defend his squad. So go ahead, Cam.
Well, Klaas had the number 1 pick, so he's rolling with Barry, and I love that pickup for him. Barry played really well last year on a team that had quite a few injuries, but so they're always adding new guys to the roster with Pat. But I like that pickup with Barry, and Bob is looking really good. So I kind of had top end. I think their playmaking will be really good on this team. David is a good passer, good point guard too, good defender. I like their defense a lot. Bob can D up, so can Barry, so can David. Lane, we all know he plays defense, sometimes a little too hard, but love it anyway. When he's on your team, you love that. So I think defense is one of their strengths as well. Yeah, those are the 2 I had for kind of what they bring to the table. I don't know if you want me whipping out a weakness too, but I won't say it's their GM, but I'll imply it.
Well, Klaas put a comment on the panel chat last week. What was that comment, Klaas?
Like, what was I just gonna say now? Like, you can't go back after you just said our strength is defense. You just put me on a team where you said strength is defense. Cam, I love you, buddy. I might take back some things I'm gonna say later on about you.
You know I'm messing with you, Klaas. I don't think you're the weakness.
It's good.
Yeah, it's maybe a bit of depth on this team, but no, I think they're going to be strong. I think maybe cohesion a little bit, getting everyone to kind of do what you want and to play their spots and their roles will be maybe a little bit challenging at times, but I think that comes with, I think that's rewarding once you figure it out as a team. So
yeah, I think I'd build off that shot selection. My kind of key to their success was the right shots by the right person at the right time. And that's good for every team, but I think that crew is definitely gonna need to keep that in mind. Defensively, I think they're gonna be strong. You got Barry. David's an unreal defender. It doesn't matter who he's guarding either. Like he matched up with me a few times, and I was like, all right, let's go inside. And I did not just feast. He was all over me. So he's fun. I love that guy. So yeah, I think defensively you guys are going to be solid there, Klaas. Veteran leadership I put as a strength. So I want to see that veteran leadership. And by that I'm talking about Bob. I'm not talking about Klaas. And then I feel like they're just one of the most well-rounded teams with everything from bigs to smalls, defensively, offensively. Rebounding might be the one kind of thing that I would say they're lacking. But 3-point shooting inside, I think they're a pretty well-rounded squad, other than on that rebound again, maybe a little bit to be desired. But
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. I had just like straight up scoring. I think this team's gonna score well. Right shots at the right time, of course, by the right people for sure. But I also put transition offense as something that I think they'll excel in. Kasem likes to get down the court. Barry likes to get down the court. Bob likes to get down the court. Very good vision off that rebound. Klaas doesn't like to get down the court. That's why I have transition defense is their weakness. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the squad, but I think they're a
Poor
well-rounded
Klaas,
team.
dude.
But Kasem, I think he's actually going to be a big key for this team. He obviously excelled in the first game, struggled a bit more in the second. I want to see if he can really step up and be that maybe that offensive weapon that kind of flies under the radar for this team. So yeah, little challenge.
True that.
Yeah.
all right, Klaas, how accurate are we?
Hey, if there's one thing I can deal with, it's constructive criticism. And I love it because the stuff you're saying is the stuff I'm exactly working on, guys. I'm waking up at 5, drinking raw eggs, and just running lines in the gym. So this is perfect.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go.
Let's go.
Boys. So for strengths, veteran savvy, that's something that I think some other teams are going to struggle with. You're going to have some young kids shooting too quickly or shooting when they shouldn't. And I think on that fast break, I'm excited to see some of those guys run. And maybe I don't even have to play transition defense. I'll just stay back there. Like Barry, Kaysen, like those guys will be, David, they're up the court, they're doing it, and I got the back covered.
Yeah.
I think if I had to select a weakness, and I had a tough time doing this because, you know, it's tough to find own faults. I think when people walk in the gym, they're just going to get super confused. They're going to say, you know, is this a photo shoot for models or are these guys playing basketball? Like, I think they're so damn good looking. I think it just might confuse people. And like, if you bring your wife or girlfriend along, like, guys, there's nothing we can do about it. If they're looking, you just like, don't get mad. Just play the game.
True. Intimidation factor. We didn't
This guy on
account for intimidation factor. Let's go. I'll be intimidated. I know that.
Love it.
Oh.
You said
That's
something that I
awesome.
wanted to comment on, Klaus, and I just completely forgot that. What was it? Oh no, just that transition with like Barry got a ton of open layups last year. So you pair that with Bob finding him getting down the transition. It is going to be fun to watch. A tough team.
I don't think Klaas should be allowed to play a zone with David and Barry at the top of that zone. That sounds awful. Carter, when we play them, you get to play point guard against that.
No, I'm off the dribble this year, Cam. Shut up. It's not happening.
Awesome. Let's switch gears. Let's get into the Billy Goats. So Billy Goats here. We've got our Billy Martin, Chase Cockerell, Dylan Laternus, Frank Campbell, Jonathan Vanderbeek, Justin Surface, and Matthew Maines. Carter, why don't you start us off with this crew?
Yeah, I've got some things written down here for this squad. Right off the bat, 3-point shooting is something that this team's going to excel in. I mean, you got Billy, you got Justin, you got Chase who can knock it down. Jonathan can hit it. He plays more inside, but he can hit that shot. You got Frank. Oh my gosh, what a great late round find. I was going to say something about that, but yeah, just amazing 3-point shooting, kind of across the board for that squad. And then you've got a great amount of depth. I think this team has like players all around the board who can just come in and fill certain spots, fill certain gaps that the team might be lacking. So I think that Billy drafted well in getting depth for his squad. But the one weakness I was thinking about was potentially volume for this team. Billy likes to take a lot of shots. Justin likes to get that rock up. Chase, I feel like he would also like to get that ball up quite a bit. And then you got guys who kind of want to get going. I would love to see a little bit more from Jonathan. After the pre-draft, I know he has more to offer. So just to see kind of how this team meshes together, I think is going to be the biggest thing. But yeah, and how the shot distribution goes for this squad. I think that's something that I'm interested to see. But this team is really solid top to bottom, and will be a tough team to compete against, especially with that 3-point shooting and getting up and down that way. So yeah.
Love it. Good points.
Yeah.
Klaas?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with like someday I want to play with Billy because I think he's got grit and he's just got that strength and intensity. And I think when you play with a guy like that, you mimic it, you follow suit. And so I think that's definitely a strength for them. And I think I get a good feeling they're gonna move the ball well. Like even in the half court offense, I think they're gonna move that ball pretty quickly and attack pretty good. I think their weakness is interior defense. I don't mean athleticism. I think they're athletic, but I think maybe with some posts starting to back them up, I think they might struggle with that a little bit if they're in a zone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. I think like you said, they're athletic. They got some length, right? And Maines he's physical. Jonathan's big boy. He's got to be a good shot blocker. Got to be contesting things in the paint. I don't know about the ball movement. You said I think that'll be one of their strengths, and I think that's one of their keys to success is that they're willing to move the ball. Like Carter said, everyone on that team wants to shoot, right? So, who's willing to give up? Who's willing to play facilitator in order to get the hot hand going? If they are willing to look for the best shot, look for the open shot, and look for the hot hand, that's a scary team because there's going to be someone on that team who is hot from three every single night, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be huge for them.
Yeah, that's part of my weakness to speak to that 3-point shooting. That's one of my weaknesses is variance. There might be one hot guy, but the other 4 might not be hot, or the other 5 might not be hot, or 2, or none, maybe one night, or all of them are hidden, and then they blow someone out by 40. I can see that too, you know? So I think, and 3-point shooting is just high variance anyway. Maybe not for Justin Surface, the league's sharpshooter, but it has been of high variance with other guys in the past. So I think that also plays a part.
And I think like they can all play inside. They can all get to the rim. I was gonna say for a second, I don't know if I've seen Frank attack, but I have. He has that little tucks the ball in and then pulls it back out. So if they're willing to not just settle, play. When I coached, it was always paint to great, that mentality of let's get inside, let's kick it, and then hit the 3.
Yeah,
they have the pieces there. So I think
I will not be taking a charge on Frank. I'm just gonna tell you now. That dude's strong, man.
He is strong. You know what I love about him? He's always smiling. Like even when he's driving to the
Yeah.
room, he's grinning.
Good smile.
Loving it. I love
Oh,
that.
dear. Yeah.
Let's go.
Love it.
Oh,
Awesome. Let's move on to let's go shake and bake. Let's hit Evan's squad. Cam, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I think one of their major strengths right now is size. They got some big boys on that team with Pat and Nick DeLue. Sean plays like a big. He's strong as well. Farm strength, I call it. And they've got great rebounding, you know, being so large. I think one of the drawbacks of this team is the shooting, the 3-point shot. I think they can get inside. I think they'll do well at that. But if they're going up against a heavy 3-point shooting team, just the analytics say the 3-point shot is worth a little more than a 2.
Facts.
So facts. So I worry about that end. And if they can be consistent at shooting threes, then I feel a little bit better about it. But I mean, they've got Tyron, who's a good shooter. Ezra, I've seen him hit a few, but I'd like to see him shoot a few more and kind of get going on that end. And maybe Sean can tap back into his 3-point shooting as well. But that's kind of the drawback for me with shake and bake.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that spacing like will be interesting. You got guys who want to drive like Sean and yeah, I can see spacing being an issue for this squad. Ezra likes to get to the hole too as well. But yeah, it's honestly if I'm in like a guy like Ezra's position where last game I saw him really turn it up in the end of that game. It was the last game, so not a lot of people saw it, but he really turned it up. And just to see, he's a guy who has the opportunity to have a decent amount of volume, especially like mainly the chance of him playing like the point guard position. So I'm interested to see if he takes advantage of that kind of role, because it could be very opportune. And so I'm interested to see this team. They're obviously very large, great size, could be really good defensively, especially in the paint. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting team. I'm having a hard time kind of figuring out what they're going to look like out on the court, but I'm excited. It'll be interesting. So
Love it. I think there's gonna be two styles of play for them. It's gonna be Joe and Sean run, and we're hitting them in transition because those two can run forever. Or it's gonna be let's walk up the ball, let's get some I don't know, flex screens underneath the hoop, get some easy buckets inside. Um, and that kind of yeah, they don't have someone who maybe is gonna take over games necessarily. Although to be fair, Sean can. We've seen that when he won the chip that first season. We've seen how hot he can get, and if like Cam said, if he starts hitting the three ball again, you take that alongside his ability to attack and get to the rim. He's a pretty scary dude.
Yeah, yeah. For strengths, I think you mentioned what I had. For defense, they're going to be big, tough to move. Inside, I think it's going to be tough to post up on them. And for weakness or something they're going to have to think about, if they can't score, they won't score. Like if they got guys who are having off nights and it aligns for all of them, it's going to be a long night for those boys.
yeah,
That's a good point. I'd comment on transition D as well. I think transition D they're going to have a tough time. Um, they got guys who are willing to hustle, but yeah, I think it'll be tough for them.
yeah.
Let's go on to let's go net profits. So Braden's crew. Klaas, why don't you start us off this one?
All right, Braden's crew, two strengths. I think it's possible that they'll be able to score at will. I think they got some good scorers and guys that will do what it takes to get to the hoop, shoot at the right time. I think they're going to be wise. And so I think if they want to score on days, most days they'll be able to do it. And they might have some guys who are dark horses. I think the guys they got coming in who are new, I think we might see the dark horse coming out of that team there. I think a weakness, something that they might struggle with is some team chemistry. Can these guys ball together? Now, some of the names are new to me, so hey, I'm also kind of new here. But can they do it together? Do their strengths and weaknesses gel or clash? And will that add to frustration when they're playing on the court?
That's a good point. That's what I had for their weakness too, is that team chemistry. I think you have a lot of guys who again want to score. John and Josh being your kind of go-to scorers on that squad, I think. Braden wants to take a lot of shots up. I think they need someone willing to be the facilitator again. I know Nate Duncan will probably buy into that role. A good little point guard. I know Justin said he wants to get Josh. He wants to get 10 assists a night from finding Josh. Honestly, if again, I said this in previous panels, but if I had Josh on my team, my sole goal would be get him the ball where he can score because he can score, right? So, like you said, Klaas, I think they're gonna have nights where they just score every single time down the floor.
Yeah, agreed. I have yeah, in terms of cohesion, I'm just a little worried about kind of where guys are. Like on the floor, I think the paint is a little clogged. I know Braden spends some of his time on the outside, but if Alex is on the floor and Braden has a mismatch, he's going inside. Josh is best suited to going inside. Alex too, kind of a lot of their stuff runs through the paint. So if Mark, he gets his buckets in the paint too. So John is like And John and Justin are both true 3-point shooters, so they got to be able to hit that three when it comes back out to them. Otherwise, that paint is going to be busy in there. And if they go up against some of the bigger teams, I think they might have a disadvantage on those boards as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, very similar thoughts for sure.
Cool.
This all sounds good.
All right, we're on the 10-minute timer just popped up, so let's get cruising here. Let's go to Casco Crush. Carter, start us off with your old teammate Jackson's crew. What do you got for us?
Just weaknesses. No, I think a great strength for this team is chemistry. Jackson's obviously familiar with playing with Devo a lot, and Kendall works well with basically anyone, getting them the rock with mentality and IQ. Yeah, but I think one place they might struggle with is a team with really strong guard ability. So if you get a team like potentially the Billy Goats who have Justin, Billy, and Chase, maybe they'll create like the level of mismatches with the smaller guards on that squad who, because they're all very quick, very agile. And so I'm interested to see how that goes for that squad. But great chemistry, great rebounding, and just a really great big three on that squad. So, yeah.
Yeah, following up, I think they're smart ballers. They're going to make wise decisions. And I think most of them will attack the net. And now when I'm playing perimeter defense, like I'll shut them down. But when they're cutting in the net and scoring, it's going to be tough. Weakness, I don't know. I don't want to call them out, but I'm not sure all those guys will play the role that they want them to play. I wonder if they do too much. I wonder if, like, you got a guy saying, I'm going 20 for 20, and he's just ignoring all his teammates. And so, they might not stay focused. And last but not least, I think a weakness, 2 words, volleyball season.
Oh,
Let's go.
I love that you're calling Tristan out. I love it.
Volleyball's
I'm not calling him out. Like, good for him. Volleyball is a wonderful warm-up activity for basketball. That's
amen.
Oh, that
That's
was
awesome.
getting clipped to the Instagram for sure.
One of my strengths I have written down here is the commish. It says right there on my notes app, it says the commissioner. They have the commissioner of the league, and somehow he just wins games. So I don't know how he does it. It's just, is it good play? Is it paying off the refs?
Yeah.
I've seen Tyron take a check or two, so I don't know. Just can't beat him for some reason. But maybe this is the year.
We'll see. We'll see. I won't talk about my team's strengths. I think I'm gonna agree definitely with Carter. Against a strong guard team, I do see us having a tough time defending that. Obviously Jackson, great defender. Tristan, Fallon, like Levi, like solid guys defensively. They're solid, but can they handle a Justin, right? Can they handle on your guys' squad, whether they're taking Carter or Tim or Scott, like which of those three? I'm not going to count Cam in there. I'm not too worried about him. But yeah, so who's going to step up? Now I will say that again, early on, Jackson talked to me, was hoping to draft me. Then just looking at where things were falling, I kind of thought this situation might happen. So I have been trying to match up with guys like Reno and Scott, match up with Crawford a little bit in the summer season, just in case that comes. Now, as soon as I am defending any of those guys, I can do nothing on offense because I am just gassed, right? So I'm really hoping one of the other guys steps up and can handle those guys because I have a tough time keeping up with them.
Nice.
Cool. 2 more. Let's go. We'll go Boardman gets paid then. Go for Marriott's team.
Let's go.
For sure.
You go, Carter.
I'm gonna go. I think that this team.
Hey, wait, no,
defense,
let me
obviously right off the hop. This team's defense, class. Like not a team I'm excited to play against at all. Like I can't lie. Straight up, not a team I want to play defensively, and they got good depth, top to bottom, very solid squad. But one thing that I think they do lack is that firepower offensively. If your team keys in on Greeno, other guys got to step up, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Agreed. I had defense in all bold letters because I'm like, doesn't sound like fun. Carter's going to switch off of Logan onto Greeno, then onto Mike Marriott, and it's going to be funny to watch.
I'm missing
I'll just
that
be standing
game.
in the corner,
missing
so
that
that'll
game.
be fun. But I had all around play. Like I think Mike got a few of the steals in the later rounds for sure with Chittle and Isaiah, two solid guys. And the only thing that kind of will make or break their season is shot making. I think, other than Greeno, if he's able to stay healthy, like they need guys to hit some shots and to kind of pick up some of that scoring. High variance team, I think, a little bit too.
Yeah, I like that. I think they're going to go deep into games. I think in the fourth quarter, they'll be the least tired team in the whole league. I think they got endurance. That's trouble for the rest of us. Perimeter defense is going to be great. I think weakness is interior D. I don't think they're going to stop a lot of I can't wait to see Mike, aka Wendell Clark's team, take on Evans boys. That's going to be an interesting game because I think those big boys are going to get right down to that hoop against the boardman gets paid.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think the high variance that you said, Cam, is that like this team, they could get dry and have a real tough time scoring. I think though the thing with them is when I look at that roster, everyone can get 10 to 15 points. I think I know Mike Greeno took a lot of the offensive load last year. And I think it's important that he sees the crew here as scorers as well and gets everyone involved. Because if they are solely reliant on Mike scoring, they won't have enough offense. But I think there's enough other scores there and mismatches that they'll be able to get. So I think for me, this was the toughest team to find a true weakness. I think Aaron, Garrett, Isaiah can all guard fairly big. This was a tough team to find a weakness for. All right, we got 2 minutes and a half. Let's quickly get on to Cobb. Klaas, start us off. What do you think about Cam's crew?
Strengths. I think the top five, your starting five, they can run it. They can run it. They can run with it. I think they're going to look pretty good. I think a strength's going to be shooting for these guys. I think they're wise enough to give the hot hand the ball. But I think a weakness also is they're going to shoot too much. And if guys are off, they're going to have some trouble.
I'm always off.
Oh man, yeah, I'll add a little bit there. Just with a facilitator like Tim, a smart guy trying to find three guys, really strong scorers in that kind of top starting five. They're offensively pretty scary team. Defensively, okay. Defensively, okay. That's all I'll give them that way. I'd say that's one of their weaknesses. And then roles. Are they going to accept their roles? Is Cam and Carter going to think that they're the Splash Brothers when they're obviously second tier? Who knows?
Yeah, right.
Splash Bros. Splash Bros.
Ah.
Let's go.
Cobb season. Going on the Cobb.
My 3-point celebration is going to be me eating corn, Tabor corn, like this.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. We got a minute left. Do you guys want to just
Klaas's corner.
stop? Yeah, do you just want to stop? I'll do one more recording. And then we can hit that, and then we're not quite as rushed. I'll try to put the two together
Yes,
in about 10
agreed.
minutes.
I want to do
I like
crazy
that. I want
Klaas's
to
corner.
do crazy Klaas's corner.
Hey, see ya.
All right, we'll be back.
Kendall just need. Okay, we just ended our free trial. I think the league, Kendall needs to just upgrade to premium Zoom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Premium.
Agreed.
Come on, Kendall.
There, 2 seconds. There we are. I was looking at it, and it was like $250 for the year. So if we want to get another sponsor on, we can have a podcast sponsor. by all means. I know. Yeah, I don't know who we want to get on there, but
Michael Bubbly.
I don't know who owns any small
This
businesses
podcast
or
is
anything like that
sponsored
around
by
here.
Bubbly. Refresh your hydration with sparkling water. 0 calories per 355 milliliters. Boom, done. I just did that in 2 seconds.
Do I have to check off when I post the video on YouTube? Check off that this is a paid
Paid
video.
by, yeah, there you go.
All right. Just before we get to Klaas's crazy corner, let's rank the teams, not including your own team. So you're ranking 6 teams. Let's go 6th all the way to 1st. And we're gonna start off with the pretty new haircut. Go ahead, Carter.
Thank you. I'm gonna go with at 6 the net profits. At 5 Boardman gets paid. At 4 Shake and Bake. At 3 Principal's Office. At 2 the Billy Goats, and at 1 Casco Crush.
Oh, let's go.
Cause we need a bigger target on Kendall's back to start the season.
Don't up his ego, Carter. We need to bring it
Bro,
down.
at the end of the no, I think we
Carter.
always try to do that. I think we've tried to do that in the past and it doesn't work. I think it's already there. I think the ego's already there, so we need other people to see it, you know?
Dang it.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I'll bring him down a notch. Let me go my list. Okay.
6.
Stephen A. Smith's about to give his list. All right. Let me just find it here. Okay. 6, I had Shake and Bake. 7, Net Profits. 4, the Billy Goats. 3, the Crush. 2, Principal's Office. And 1, Boardman Gets Paid.
Boardman gets paid. Big difference from Carter there. Interesting stuff. All right, Klaas.
I just don't want to play that team. I think they're going to be. They just have no weaknesses.
It's fair.
Interesting.
Getting that target on Mike. I like it.
Okay, I'm not gonna list a number 1. I'll just start with 7 and go to 2. First at 7, we got net profits. At 6, we got Shake and Bake. At 5, we got Casco and his crew. At
Yes.
4, we got Boardman Gets Paid. At 3, we got COB, and at 2, we got Billy.
Woo! Man, I love the difference in everyone's lists. This is awesome.
This is gonna be fun. Woo!
Alrighty. I think like every other year when we've done this, I'd be pretty confident. Not that it comes out exactly how I've thought it was going to be, but like it seems pretty obvious to me. Making this list was tough, and I think any team can beat any team. I think that like I'll say this: I have net profits as number 6, along with Carter and Klaas, but I think that they're going to beat Shake and Bake, right? And so how those tiebreakers work is going to be interesting. But I will give you my list. I have net profits at 6. I have Shake and Bake at 5, COB at 4, Principal's Office at 3, Billy Goats as 2, and Boardman Gets Paid at 1. So here's my list. Any thoughts? Anything we want to break down real quick, guys?
Weren't you just surprised that I put Boardman Gets Paid at 1?
I was.
And you just had him at 1.
Yeah, I was surprised that you saw that. I didn't think you had that view of good skills and picking.
That's the nicest
first-
way to say, Cam, I think you're an idiot.
Yeah, first of all, how dare you? Second of all, my scouting ability is unmatched, I think. I got Carter at 13, okay? Talk about an overpay.
Exactly.
Oh, well.
Cam, again, I've been so nice to you the last few. I had to try to start
That's
getting a
true.
little bit more negative.
I am a little bit surprised that Billy Goats ranked so high on everyone's list. That's just is the first thing that stood out to me. But I love it. We don't need to put more fire under Billy's ass, you know?
I think the Billy Goats are gonna be. There's gonna be like they're gonna compete, and I think that's gonna be like. I mean, I think they'll struggle if they do play a team like Boardman gets paid. No, not Boardman gets paid. What's the really tall team? Evans
Shake
team.
and bake. Shake and bake.
Shake and bake. I think like if they somehow play them in like the second round of the playoffs and they're posting them up and playing hard D, that game could go either way in my opinion. I think it's just matchups for them. But if they get a good draw to the final, I think they got a good shot as anyone. So yeah.
I think like looking at that list, there's no one that I want to see in playoffs, right? Yeah, I don't know. There's no rollover team.
No.
It's
Yeah.
going to be a good season. It's going to be a battle, I think, and I'm pumped. I'm ready to go.
For sure.
All right, let's get into Klaas's crazy corner. What do you got for us, man?
All right, Klaas's crazy corner. I just need the intro. Hello, kids. Welcome to Klaas's crazy corner. Now, I know you've been watching the panel for many years and you've been enjoying your time here, but I need to tell you something. There's a little bit more to life than basketball. Yes, you might say basketball is most important, but manners matter. And I've been keeping track of some stats, some extra stats about the panel, and I think you need to know this. I'm sorry to call these people out, but the first stat is the number of interruptions that Cam has per session.
What was that? Sorry.
10 interruptions by Cam per panel.
Okay, yeah.
The next one is the number of times that Cam says me or I per panel. It's 1 every 33 seconds. Kids, this is serious. Manners matter. The next one is the ratio of let's go between Cam and Carter. And you'll be surprised that the ratio is exactly 1 to 1.
Let's go.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Let's not confuse let's go with Cam's signature, let's go. There's a difference there. The next one is the number of times that Cam said he'd post me up, but then didn't. He didn't post me up. And we're going to move on to the next one, the very last one. This is the number of times that Carter is on the panel this year and then gets dunked on the next day. 50% of the time. So kids, remember, stats matter. Pay attention. Get on the bus. The principal's taking you to school.
Yeah. That was brilliant. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
All done. All right, so
I don't like how that was all focused on me for some reason. I
Yeah,
just interrupted Kendall
There's no
as
Kendall
I did it.
diss. There's no Kendall diss in there. Where's the Kendall shot?
That's if I get invited back, boys. I got the next.
Oh, yeah.
So future guests on the panel, this is what you have to live up to. One, you have to have a fancy name for your little corner or whatever your session is, although Cam did come up with that. And two, you got to bring us something quality. So well done, Klaas.
That was quality.
That was good
Boss,
stuff.
thank you.
Love it.
That was so good. Oh man.
Thanks for the invite, gentlemen.
Good
Pleasure.
Thanks for
Awesome.
coming. That's sweet.
All right, guys. Thanks for your time. Always a pleasure. For the guys back home, just a reminder, we are playing on Tuesday, not on Sunday, this week. And we are we're fitting it into that 6 till 10 block. So it's just it's condensed games. I think we're going with what am I going with? 22-ish minute halves. It's going to be pretty quick. That was the only way we could fit it in on the Tuesday. So something to be aware of. Get in there, get a quick game in and hop out so we can get all 4 games in. Last words before we see our teams coming out. Any thoughts?
Championship or bust. Let's go.
Cam, you better pass the ball this season, bro, or else I'm demanding a trade. I can't handle it, bro. I can't.
I got crazy mad respect for the league, for the amount, like the quality, like the character of guys.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome playing with guys who want to ball, but they're also not jerks. They know we got to work tomorrow. So I love it.
Love it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys.
Respect the refs. Respect the
Respect the
refs.
refs. There we go. All right. Have a good one, guys.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.